But you said it's you and Joshua here. Now, is this fight done? What are we talking about?
You know, it's going to happen. Like, seriously, it's going to happen. We were talking with Turkey tonight, negotiations live in person.
Former world champion, he's now being talked about as an opponent for Anthony Joshua. Can that fight happen?
I think the fight can absolutely happen. I'm looking at it as Jake versus Joshua, which is quite biblical and it's quite impactful in many ways.
Reports confirm that the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight is officially in motion for January 2026. Sources reveal that major negotiations are underway. Jake Paul's manager, Nakhisamidarian, confirmed initial talks with Joshua's team, and Eddie Hearn, with Saudi boxing power player Turki Alashik working behind the scenes to support the event. Possible venues include Wembley, various U.S. locations, and sites in the Middle East.
In terms of those active discussions, how far have things progressed? Is it something that you can see happening next for Jake and for AJ?
I think we're looking at it happening in Q1 of 2026 is kind of the current discussion. I think it's public that AJ was taking a little time away. I think he had a little surgery. So once he's ready and once Jake is ready, we're going to squarely focus on that.
There are some concerns, aren't there, within the boxing world about Jake fighting someone as powerful as AJ. How much of a worry is that? We saw what he did to Ngannou.
So power is obviously the last thing to go. So obviously AJ has a ton of power and he's still fairly young.
Coming off his victory over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Jake Paul has teased a possible clash with Anthony Joshua, saying about next year is highly probable. The two have exchanged messages, and Paul claimed Joshua proposed the end of 2025 for the fight, with a full-scale event planned for early 2026. His manager, Nakhisamidarian, reinforced that by confirming talks are progressing for a colossal showdown.
Now, I know you're after a world title, but if that doesn't materialize, I know the Tommy Fury name has been floated about. Is there any other fighters who may not be world champions that you're looking to face?
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Joshua.
I think that's the main one that, you know, we've talked a lot about is if it's not for the title, it's looking at Tommy, if he's reasonable, and then Anthony Joshua. And he's adamant that he wants to make that fight happen at the end of 2026.
Anything's possible. And so I like the challenge. People, that's the criticism. Fight someone in their prime who's a beast. I think people just want to see me lose. That's really what the message is behind it all. And Anthony Joshua is an insane fight, but I want that challenge. We've been DMing back and forth. He wants to make it happen. He called me up, and it's looking very likely for next year.
Paul followed up his bold challenge with serious intent, stating that a wild fight with Joshua is exactly what he wants next after beating Chavez Jr. He directly called out Joshua on his podcast and doubled down after the match, declaring Joshua as his next target and vowing to shake up the heavyweight division.
I want to fight Anthony Joshua exclusive because I know that I will beat Anthony Joshua. I know I will beat. Knocked out, right? Yeah. He doesn't have a chin and he has no skill and he's stiff. And I love you, Anthony. We're friends. But I want to fight you. I will beat Canelo. I will beat a lot of people. I will not beat David Benavidez.
Paul maintains that his clash with Joshua would benefit boxing, claiming it injects new excitement, attracts fresh fans, and draws worldwide attention. Calling himself a much-needed change, he pointed out that legends like Joshua, Tyson, Fury, and Pacquiao all acknowledged his impact. He argued that the sport needs new energy, and his...
But you said it's you and Joshua here. Now, is this fight done? What are we talking about?
You know, it's going to happen. Like, seriously, it's going to happen. We were talking with Turkey tonight, negotiations live in person, which are always fun. But it's going to happen, and it's just such an exciting fight that crosses the whole globe. When you ask a lot of people about certain boxers, they don't know their names. And everywhere I've been going, I just talk about Anthony, and I don't have, you know, I'm global, so it's just such a good fight for the sport of boxing, and people will think I will die, but I will show them why I can rise against all odds and beat him.
Everyone's been wanting to see it happen. Who will be the king of the United Kingdom? And who will be the queen of the United... Too soon? I'm praying that boxing doesn't happen to this fight, and what I mean by that is politics, people trying to take more money than they deserve. Fuck the money, get in there, make fucking history. This is one of the biggest fights that could happen over this past decade. Make it fucking happen, Eddie Hearn. Make it fucking happen, Frank Warren. Make it happen, Tyson. Make it happen, Anthony Joshua. We don't need fucking excuses. Don't let boxing ruin this fight. Get in the fucking ring and fight like men.
Eddie Hearn has also stated that real discussions are ongoing regarding a potential Joshua versus Jake Paul matchup, aiming for early 2026. Joshua is expected to return by late 2025 following elbow surgery. Saudi boxing influencer Turki Alashik is believed to be on board with the idea, further boosting its chances.
The discussions with AJ are as follows. We will be ready to fight November, December. We are planning life without Jake Paul. But if that is for real, of course, we take that fight in a heartbeat. I don't just think Jake's doing it just purely for publicity, but at the same time, will he actually do it? We'll find out soon, but we're up for it. But we can't just live in the world of waiting for Jake Paul. So we're going to fight December, maybe early January.
Emphasized that stepping into the ring with an elite heavyweight like Joshua is incredibly risky, and still, Hearn issued a clear warning to Paul. While he recognizes the huge commercial appeal, he will not be underestimated.
Jake Paul could last 3 rounds with Anthony Joshua. 3, 2, 1. You've seen he's called him out, presumably.
Yeah, in 2026. I mean, that's like me saying I'm going to go for the gold at the 2028 Olympics for surfing. It's clickbait, but he might just be mad enough to have a go. It's very dangerous, very dangerous. I mean, you saw a guy who has the same size as AJ and who has much more ability than Jake Paul, which is Francis Ngannou. And you saw what happened to him, and that was scary for a while. So, yeah, we can joke about it, but I don't recommend it for Mr. Paul.
I like Jake. He's a good promoter, very good promoter, and he's a funny guy. He's got a great sense of humour, got good people around him, the key, so they know their business. There's a massive weight disparity, and that's a tough thing to give away, especially with somebody who's got so much physical advantage over him, and he's a young guy, AJ. He's not an old guy, he's a young guy. Will it happen? Who knows? Anything happens sometimes in our sport. But I think that is a big ask of Jake beating him. Big ask.
Where are you on this nonsense?
Where am I? I can't see it happening. I can't. Although yes, lots of money, so on and so forth. I can't see it. I just can't. It just obviously as someone who's been a unified heavyweight world champion going in against Jake Paul, it just doesn't sit right. Yeah, and it's like I'm also talking from a health and safety factor. It's like he's maybe a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
I think Joshua's a very big, strong heavyweight, and if he turns it on, it's not just a risk of a knockout. It's a much bigger risk. So I can't see it personally, but it's good talking point, I guess.
Hearn acknowledged the buzz surrounding Tyson Fury's comments, but stressed there's nothing remotely even about a Joshua Paul fight. In a frank interview, he said if people believe it's a 50-50 contest, they're viewing it purely from a promotional angle.
He's been with AJ and Frank Bruno up there, the past, the current. So you're in now, son. You're in the deep end, and he's a good kid and a great fighter. I'm sure people are going to love being part of the journey.
Yeah, I know you're in a bit of a rush here, so I'll move on to Tyson Fury. Are you shocked that Tyson Fury announced he's going to come back to ring? And did you expect him to want Usyk rather than AJ?
I think that he's always going to want to avenge a defeat. I mean, look, he feels that he won both of those fights. You know, I thought they were very close. Don't think he won them, but you know, maybe he does fight Usyk again. We can't control what Fury does. I gave up trying to do that years ago. You've seen from the response online, no one's really interested in Fury against Usyk 3, and everyone wants the AJ fight. But the minute I come out and start saying this and saying that, it probably rolls us back. So what I'm going to say is good luck, Tyson Fury. Do whatever you want to do. Hopefully it involves giving the public the biggest fight the country's ever had.
Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, 50-50 fight. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I just said in another interview, great if it is. I mean, if it is, then you've got no problem seeing it. But when AJ, I mean, decapitates a strong word, but you know, when he renders Jake Paul unconscious like he did to Francis Ngannou, don't then say, oh well, it was Jake Paul. Do you know what I mean? I mean, when AJ beat Francis Ngannou, Ngannou just had a fight that could have gone either way with Tyson Fury. Then AJ poleaxed him, and everyone just said he's just an MMA fighter. Do you know what I mean? Jake Paul's not Francis Ngannou. But as I said before, if you want to see Jake Paul exit the boxing world, make the fight.
Last one, what next for Dave Allen?
Well, Dave Allen's been an incredible project the last couple of months. I mean, look, we've been talking to Deontay Wilder, we've been talking to Joseph Parker.
Former WBC cruiserweight champion Tony Bellew slammed the idea as dangerously reckless, citing Paul's significant size disadvantage and raising major concerns for his safety.
It's a possibility to happen.
Yeah, it's a possibility that it's a possibility an alien might just land on this fucking grass now. It's a possibility.
Listen, I'm not saying the outcome of the fight, but there's a possibility that this fight could happen, couldn't it?
Just said the word fight in the same sentence said Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. This is a guy who was on the Disney Channel, made his name big from the Disney Channel, and I haven't really slated this guy because I think he's doing some of the things he's doing for boxing is brilliant. This job he's doing with the women is fantastic. I went into a gym the week before he fights Tommy Fury, and there was 200 kids in the gym on a Tuesday night. Kids, he's a big part of that. I give him all the credit in the world. But in the same sentence, he's fought one live boxer in his career, and he lost. What would you say if I put Tommy Fury in with Anthony Joshua?
Jake Paul's promoter, Nakisa Badarian, has directly responded to concerns over the size gap between Paul and Anthony Joshua, stating, size-wise, we can get comfortable with it. Paul reportedly walks around at 210 to 215 pounds, while Joshua typically weighs closer to 252 pounds. Badarian argued that Paul's physical strength and fast development make the matchup realistic. He emphasized Paul's experience fighting at heavyweight, especially his bout with Mike Tyson, and said Paul's growth in the ring makes the weight difference manageable. Still, across the boxing landscape, professionals including fighters, trainers, and promoters continue to raise doubts about the fight's safety, legitimacy, and impact on legacy. Though some admit the event has financial appeal, few view—
Don't put it past Jake Paul. Anthony Joshua, as much as he's a monster, he's got a weak mind, hasn't he? So Jake could end up getting into it because Jake's got everyone eating out the palm of his hand. He's a very clever man, so...
You really think he's got a chance?
Why wouldn't he have a chance? Look how confident he is. Mate, come on. Like, Anthony would have all the pressure in the world, and if Anthony didn't do him with the first few punches, he'd start doubting himself in his head, because that's what he does. But no, Anthony should win, shouldn't he?
What do you make of Tyson Fury saying that he's going to put $1 million bet on Jake winning by knockout?
Tyson to leg it, lad. He's retired about 50 times. What's he on about, mate? Just tell him to leg it, and I'd love him. If he walked in here, I'd obviously...
At one point, you were good friends.
I'm still good friends, but obviously if he walked in here, I'd act like I'm not talking about him, but then on the camera I'm talking to him. Is this not what we're on? Is everyone not fake, or no, we all... What are we on here? Are we all acting like we don't hate each other? Like, come on. Like, what?
You're on absolute smoke today.
Shut your mouth, Tyson. Shut your trap.
John Fury, Tyson Fury's outspoken father, stirred headlines with a bold prediction about the potential Joshua versus Jake Paul fight. In a blunt interview, he declared that Anthony Joshua would knock Jake Paul out with ease, and claimed that if the result went any other way, the fight must be rigged. Fury's extreme comments reflected his belief in Joshua's dominance and experience. However, Tyson Fury offered a drastically different take on the mega fight. The former heavyweight champion said he would wager £1 million on Jake Paul to knock out Joshua, calling it a genuine 50-50 contest. His surprising stance sparked heated debate in the boxing world, with many questioning the seriousness of the prediction. In response, Jake Paul showed confidence, saying he'd take the bet and up the stakes by offering £10 million on himself to win.
There's been some talk about possibly Joshua using Jake Paul as a tune-up to fight you. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about tune-up. I think Jake Paul knocks him out.
Seriously?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why so? What impresses you about Jake Paul?
I just think Jake Paul would knock AJ out. I think AJ's a spent force, and I think Jake Paul's on the rise. And I like his new heavyweight look. Bit chubby, bit bulky. Getting there. That's protected. And he just done a great job over the aging Chavez Jr., who was a middleweight, but still.
Sure.
Yeah. I like how Jake Paul calls out the full spectrum from featherweight to heavyweight. Do you know what I mean? Who did he call out? Tank Williams and Joshua. That's just crazy. That's what he called Richter scale call-outs.
Richter scale, I like that.
Simon Jordan has pushed back against the idea of Anthony Joshua considering a fight with Jake Paul. Jordan stressed that, despite some recent setbacks, Joshua remains a legitimate world champion whose legacy shouldn't be tied to a crossover event. He cautioned that the matchup would add nothing meaningful to boxing and questioned whether audiences or broadcasters would treat a bout between an elite heavyweight and a social media star turned boxer.
As a boxing purist, it doesn't sit well, but as a normal working class lad, I've been asked by builders, would you fight Jake Paul for £5 million? I never got £5 million for fighting anyone else in a fight, so it's the silliest question in the world. I've been retired 7 years. I'm still very confident. If you give me 3 weeks to get off the couch, I'll probably still beat him with one hand. It's not. He's not a good fighter, so it's not even being disrespectful to him. As a YouTuber, as a presenter in what he does, he blows me out the water. That's his line of work. But he's stepping into boxing, another profession. Now to call it like Canelo out, I think is disrespectful. To call Anthony Joshua out is lunacy. But we know why it's happening and why he does it.
Forget Jake Paul.
Forget
Jake
a lot of tickets.
Paul. I mean, Jake Paul's going to do what Jake Paul does, but Anthony Joshua, and with respect to you and what you did and didn't earn in your career, Anthony Joshua has earned a king's ransom. Yeah. So he doesn't need to be fiddle with this, does he? Yeah.
No, he doesn't. But again, all I keep seeing from people out there is, when is enough enough? And I get that. But when you're retired at 33, 34, and you've got to make that last, now you've got more experience than me in this, dealing with a lot of footballers in the past as well, and business people who got to make a certain amount of budget last. It's the easiest money you'll probably ever make.
Joe Rogan weighed in on the matchup during his Joe Rogan Experience podcast, voicing doubt over Jake Paul's timing. He questioned why Paul would delay the fight until 2026 instead of facing Joshua sooner, joking, "Jake wants to fight Anthony. Joshua now." He's like, "No, I want to wait till 2026. Rogan sarcastically speculated that Paul might be planning to add size over time, possibly with the help of steroids, rather than genuinely focus.
They're talking right now about doing Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul.
I know, I saw that.
Jake Paul apparently wants that fight.
Yeah, that fight's not competitive at all.
Well, it's a dangerous fight.
Yeah.
Because Joshua's going to try to make an example out of him, for sure.
And will.
I mean, Anthony Joshua's one of the biggest one-punch KO artists. What he did to Francis Ngannou, good lord.
Yes.
Do you want that smoke?
Yes.
I mean, he's a one-punch, night-night guy.
Amid the ongoing debate, veteran heavyweight Derek Chisora has harshly criticized the possibility of Jake Paul receiving a WBC ranking, calling it an insult to boxing. Chisora argued that true fighters earn their status through years of hard-fought matches and dedication. He claimed Paul's rise through fame instead of merit devalues the sport. Chisora also slammed WBC president Mauricio Suleiman, accusing him of trading the organization's integrity for profit, calling the situation a disgrace.
The WBC have said they're going to give a cruiserweight ranking to the winner of this fight. Do you think they deserve one?
No, I don't think so. I don't know why. It's hard enough for real athletes, for real boxers, to gain those rankings, and then suddenly this Solomon Tuesday decides to give double ranking because he's getting some greens in his back pocket. No, that is disgrace to boxing.
Former world champion George Groves has rejected the notion of Anthony Joshua fighting Jake Paul, arguing there's no legitimate sporting merit in it. He believes Joshua should pursue meaningful matchups against real contenders, not participate in crossover events. Groves called the fight low risk with no legacy reward, suggesting Joshua either retire or wait for a blockbuster clash with Tyson Fury, the only bout he sees as truly worthy of Joshua's status. Meanwhile, fans have ridiculed the idea of a Joshua versus Paul fight, branding it a joke. Many dismissed it as a comedy event, with some calling Jake Paul cancer to boxing. Fans argue Joshua's legacy deserves to be capped with elite-level fights, not gimmicky spectacles. These reactions underscore widespread doubt and concern about the seriousness and credibility of the proposed matchup.
This is probably the state of heavyweight boxing. They have to bring Jake Paul into the ring to face off one of the greatest heavyweights of all time.
He's already scheduled to face Anthony Joshua, which would be a major step up.
Tyson Fury said, I genuinely think Jake Paul knocks out Anthony Joshua, which is actually crazy.
But what did John Fury say?
Anthony Joshua could knock Jake Paul out with his dick.
If you saw what Anthony Joshua did to Francis Ngannou, who's not a boxer, absolutely flatlined him, right? You think a Canelo versus Crawford will do numbers? Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua would break numbers. It'll probably be on Netflix. You'll see. Is Jake Paul a real boxer? Can he compete in heavyweight against Anthony Joshua? The world of boxing is crazy right now.
To go from Nate Robinson, 5'7" guard that played in the NBA, to Anthony Joshua, you would never have picked that.
Jake Paul, you've lost your mind if you think you can go toe-to-toe with Anthony Joshua. Listen, let's not get confused, guys. Let's not get confused. Yes, cool. Anthony, he took a big L with Daniel Dubois. But Daniel Dubois is not no joke, bro. He's not a joke. You know what I'm trying to say? He took an L there, but Jake Paul, I got the utmost respect of what he's done, how he's managed to navigate through the boxing world. Like, bro, it's so mad. And I can see this is like a 90%. It's happening, it's positioning, it's marketing already. Like, why would you see Jake Paul go face to face with Alexander Usyk if it's not to position for a fight for Saudi? Obviously, Jake Paul's gonna fight Anthony Joshua. There's possibly gonna be a Usyk against Tyson Fury 3 because obviously the last two were so close. But you never know. It can also be a Usyk against Derek Chisora. Do you know what I mean? You never know.
Do you think Jake Paul has earned a WBC ranking, or is it damaging to the sport's credibility? Would a fight with Paul elevate or harm Anthony Joshua's legacy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.